Korea's top economic story today is a massive flashing signal about where the broader global economy is heading. The booming semiconductor industry is violently colliding with physical infrastructure limits, impacting everything from the KOSPI, Korea's benchmark stock market index, to global capital flows. It's Monday, July 6. Let's get into one of Korea's top economic stories today. You hear AI and think of the cloud, but how is this boom physically straining Korea's real-world infrastructure right now?
Well, it really all comes down to water.
Okay.
Because dams supplying the Honam chip cluster hold a combined 1 billion tons of water.
Wait, just 1 billion?
Yeah, and that volume is actually less than half of Soyanggang's 2.9 billion tons of capacity.
Oh, wow.
Right, so the margin for error there is, getting dangerously thin.
Especially when you look at the sheer scale of what is coming down the pipeline. I mean,
Yeah.
Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix plan 800 trillion won, which is roughly $570 billion US, in chip fabrication investments right there in the Honam region. But if the water supply is already that tight, I mean, how does the government support a $500 billion expansion?
Well, the government plans restructuring water policy to a rolling 2-year cycle later this year.
Wait, let me just jump in and unpack this.
Yeah.
Trying to support an 800 trillion won, or $570 billion US next-gen semiconductor fab using an outdated 10-year water policy cycle is it's like running a massive modern data center on a dial-up era utility plan.
That is a perfect way to look at it.
It just proves why all this capital consolidation in Korea forces an immediate structural policy shift.
It does, and the presidential office is proposing a future response fund using unexpected chip tax windfalls.
Got it. So they are redirecting that tech money to fix the plumbing, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, looking at our sources for this deep dive, I have to admit I'm a bit confused. Hyundai Motor shifts 30,000 annual Genesis GV70 units from Alabama back to Ulsan.
Right, I know it sounds like mental whiplash.
Yeah, how does a car factory moving back to Korea connect to AI chips?
Well, when you pour that much capital into domestic high-tech manufacturing, you draw supply chains back into the country.
Ah, so the chip boom acts like a gravitational pull for other industries and capital.
Exactly. And buyers in their 30s purchased 14,103 Seoul apartments, taking a record 40.9% market share.
Wait, really? Just millennials driving up the real estate market like that?
Yes, because that tech-driven wealth generation is rewiring everything from where cars are built to, who is driving the housing market.
So if we pull back and look at the bigger picture, what is the ultimate takeaway here? Does this shift Korea's economic trajectory structurally, or is it just short-term noise?
The dangerously thin 1 billion-ton dam capacity near the Honam chip clusters is forcing a structural overhaul of water infrastructure for the next decade of industrial expansion. This shifts Korea's economic trajectory structurally, not as short-term noise, because new fiscal tools, Hyundai's manufacturing consolidation, and rising home purchases reflect a semiconductor-driven economy fundamentally reshaping infrastructure and capital. Ultimately, whether this counts as strategic planning or reactive scrambling depends entirely on the specific water and fiscal framework the government proposes later this year.
Before we wrap, ask yourself, if basic water constraints are already dictating national infrastructure policy and domestic capital flows here, how long until global markets start permanently pricing in these physical environmental limits on AI everywhere else? That's today's AI PRISM, Front Page Daily. This episode was produced with AI assistance based on Seoul Economic Daily reporting and reviewed by a human editor. AI PRISM is a 1 IFRA award-winning series. We'll be back tomorrow.